hey, if you look at the time, it's after 6. We're going to make a martini today. Not just one, we're going to make 4 different kinds of martinis. We're going to start with your common average dry martini with the 2-to-1 ratio. Then we're going to do a perfect martini, which is equal parts sweet vermouth and dry vermouth, in addition to the gin. So these are all drinks are a total of 3 ounces in volume. So in the perfect martini, it'd be 2 ounces gin and a ½ ounce for vermouth. And we're also going to do a vodka martini. A vodka martini specifically, it's called the Vesper, made popular by James Bond in the film Casino Royale. And we're also going to do the In and Out Martini, which refers to the fact that the vermouth, instead of being poured into the glass and mixed with the gin, the glass will be rinsed in vermouth. So the gin I like to use here is going to be this Beefeater. It's a London dry gin, and that's very, what we like to call neutral in flavors. It has some flavors, but it isn't too harsh. The vodka I was using is very traditionally Russian. It's called Hammer and Sickle. It is distilled in Russia. I'm also going to use another gin. It's called Plymouth Gin. It has a different flavor than the London Dry. I'm going to use the sweet and dry vermouths. What I'm going to make today is the standard dry martini. What I'm going to make is the regular dry martini, which uses a dry gin and dry vermouth. So we're going to start with 1 ounce of vermouth, and 2 ounces of this London dry gin. And stir the glass to chill. Give it a little mixing glass to chill. Then strain into our first cocktail glass. And here it is, the dry martini. If you like your gin, this is probably the best one to go with. If you want some vermouth and you like your gin. So that's martini number 1. Martini number 2 is going to be a perfect martini, which has equal parts sweet and dry vermouth and some gin. A ½ ounce of sweet, an ounce of dry vermouth, an ounce of sweet vermouth, and an ounce of gin. Perfect in cocktail making and drinks in general means in equal parts. Shake this, stir the chill of the glass and then to the other side. And go through the strainer and pour into the next cocktail glass. This is definitely a drink for those who want a more sweeter martini, but still like the martini flavor. With gin, vodka, and instead of using vermouth, we're going to use this Lillet here. The actual recipe calls for 3 ounces of Gordon's gin. I don't have Gordon's gin. So I'm going to use, but since Gordon's is a London dry gin, I'm going to use Beefier instead. Three ounces of Gordon, 3 ounces of gin. Does not have to be Gordon's, just has to be a London dry in style. 1 ounce of the vodka, but if you actually buy a bottle of Russian vodka that's like made and sold only in Russia, it will say vodka with a B because it's in Cyrillic. At the time that the Vesper Martini was created, the vodka that was very popular was Smirnoff. Half an ounce of Lillet. Stir this drink, at least all martinis are stirred. Even though James Bond said that he wants it shaken, when people ask for a martini, I personally, when I've asked for a martini at a restaurant a year ago, it is stirred and not shaken. I can understand many reasons why the character James Bond would have his martini shaken because of his work, but it does dilute the taste much more than if it was stirred. Weird combination. No, not a good combination. Not a good combination for me. This may be James Bond preferred drink, but not mine. Now, the last martini we're going to make is an In-N-Out Martini. I usually make this with Hendrick's because it is one of my favorite gins in the whole world. I love Hendrick's gin. We're going to swirl an ounce of vermouth in a glass. And then, yes, this is one part where we actually toss out the vermouth. I know for some people it may be sacrilege, but a few well-known celebrities and world leaders have like their martinis with the least amount of vermouth possible. Like Winston Churchill, and Alfred Hitchcock. I am not a supporter of their political ideas, but I am just explaining their drink preferences. It's mostly gin. This drink is mostly gin. I'm using Plymouth here because I believe it has more flavor than just a different style of gin. It's its own special kind of gin. It isn't London Dry. It isn't quote unquote distilled gin. It isn't Genever. It isn't Old Tom. It's Plymouth gin. It's its own kind of gin. In and Out Martini. It's called that because the vermouth goes in and then out. Ugh. Ugh. Plymouth gin here. Now I know why I make this with Hendrix. Plymouth gin with this just doesn't work with that drink. Your gin needs to be relatively neutral. And there's way too much bitter orange peel. So out of these 4 martinis, the perfect martini is probably my favorite out of all these 4. But if a bar or restaurant has Hendrix, I will usually go for the In-N-Out Martini with Hendrix because it is my favorite gin. It's probably the cucumber that is introduced into the gin, along with the standard botanicals. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Hopefully you've learned how to make a martini or two. And we're going to say hats off and have a good night.